Neoconservatism is more of a worldview than a coherent political ideology. That worldview has been shaped by rather traumatic historic events, most notably the Nazi Holocaust, and the events of the 1930s that led up to it. Of course, the Great Depression and pervasive anti-Semitism at the time were important causes. But neoconservatives also stress three other causes, that is. First, the failure of liberal institutions in the Weimar Republic to prevent the rise of Nazism in Germany. Second, the appeasement of Hitler by the Western European democracies and their failure to confront him militarily early on. And third, the isolationism practiced by the United States during that fateful period. This assessment of these causes leads neoconservatives to believe that spineless liberals, military weakness, diplomatic appeasement, or almost any diplomacy, and American isolationism are ever-present threats that must be fought against at all costs. Neocons believe that in the absence of a tangible threat to our national security, Americans naturally retreat into isolationism. As a result, they have engaged in a consistent pattern of threat inflation, or you can call it fear-mongering. For neocons, a new Hitler is always just around the corner, and we must be in a permanent state of mobilization. In their Manichaean world, neocons see the US as the ultimate white hat, or as Elliot Abrams, who's Podhoritz's son-in-law and was also George W. Bush's top Middle East aide, once put it, the United States is the greatest force for good among the nations of the earth. The defense of Israel has been a central pillar of the neoconservative worldview from the outset. Israel is also seen as morally exceptional, due in major part to the fact that its birth as an independent state was made possible by the terrible legacy of the Holocaust and the guilt it provoked, particularly in the West. Moreover, its depiction in the media since 1967 as both a staunch US ally, which is questionable, and a lonely outpost of democracy and Western civilization besieged by hostile, if not barbaric, neighbors, has contributed to this notion of moral superiority. They believe that both the US and Israel are morally exceptional. And that means that neither one should necessarily be bound by international norms or institutions like the UN Security Council that would constrain their ability to defend themselves or to preempt threats as they see fit. It means that both countries should maintain overwhelming military power vis-a-vis any possible challengers. And in the neoconservative view, the interests and values of the two countries are largely congruent, if not identical. Now, it's often said that neocons are also Wilsonians, devoted to the spread of democracy and liberal values. I think this is way overplayed. And I agree with Zbigniew Brzezinski, who has sometimes observed that when neoconservatives talk about democratization, they usually mean destabilization. Indeed, most neocons have historically always had a soft spot for what they used to refer to as friendly authoritarians. In any event, their record over the past 40 years suggests that their devotion to democracy depends entirely on the circumstances.